Hello, listeners. I am Nzinga Curry, AUSA's Director of Education and Programs, and this is the Army Real Talk segment of AUSA's Army Matters podcast series. I am joined by my co-host, Lieutenant Colonel Brittany Lloyd, an AUSA Army Fellow. And today, we are excited about our guests. We have the U.S. Army Olympians, who are part of the Army's world-class athlete program, and they will take part in the 2020 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo starting on the 23rd of July. Please note that last year marked the first time the Olympics had to be postponed. So even though the Tokyo Games are taking place this summer of 2021, they are still being referenced as the 2020 Olympics.
That is interesting. This is the first time in history that the Olympics have been postponed, and leave it to a pandemic to do that. Today, we are joined with the Army's Olympians, but they're actually part of the U.S. Army's world-class athlete program, which allows the top-ranked soldier athletes to perform at the international level while also serving their nation in the military. With us today, we have Sergeant First Class Elizabeth Marks, gold and bronze Olympic medalist in paraswimming, and Sergeant Samantha Schultz, a modern pentathlete. Both soldier athletes are heading to the 2020 Games.
This is so exciting, and I thank you both for joining us today. So each of you come with different military specialties and backgrounds, and I would love to hear a little bit about you as well as your career. So Sergeant First Class Marks, will you please start us off?
Yes, ma'am, it'd be my honor. My name is Sergeant First Class Marks. I'm a 68 Whiskey or combat medic, and I didn't become an athlete until after I was injured in Iraq, and I started to use swimming as a tool for recovery. So I am a Paralympic swimmer. We are classified into different classifications based upon our levels of injury, and it has been a very interesting road. I never expected to be an athlete. It was a happy accident, and I'm very grateful that the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program gave me a chance to pursue a dream I didn't even know I had.
Phenomenal. Thank you. And then Sergeant Schultz, would you share a little bit about yourself, please?
Thank you so much for having us. It's definitely an honor to speak with you guys and share a little bit about our program. I am a modern pentathlete in the World Class Athlete Program. So my sport consists of 5 events. It's fencing, swimming, horseback riding, running, and shooting. And I have competed as a civilian since 2010 and then joined the Army in 2017 and have been in the World Class Athlete Program since then and qualified my spot for the Olympic team. But growing up in Colorado, I was just a multi-sport athlete and just fell into this very unique sport, being so diverse and not really having anything specific that I focused on. And after competing as a civilian, a lot of my training partners and a lot of the people that I trained with at the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center were in the World Class Athlete Program in a bunch of different sports and in pentathlon. So I learned about the program through them, and I just saw that the way they carried themselves, being soldier athletes, they were fighting for so much more, the way they carried themselves. And after I missed the Olympics in 2016, I really wanted to take my career to the next level, my athletics to the next level, and join the Army. And I'm an 88 Mike, so motor transport operator. So I kind of came in a little bit different than Sergeant Mark, but it's really been an honor to be a part of the program and be going to Tokyo.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. And I just want to say that my birthplace is Colorado Springs, Colorado. So very nice to hear. All right. So Sergeant First Class Marks, you have been part of the Army's World Class Athlete Program since 2012. That is impressive. And you have been balancing your duties as a combat medic. Please tell us how you have gotten involved with the World Class Athletes, as well as how you are maintaining your regular Army responsibilities.
Yes, ma'am. I joined the military at 17, and I was injured by 19, and I wanted to retain my MOS as a 68 Whiskey, and so I fought very hard to do that. So I always consider myself a soldier first, which is a part of our program's motto, is soldiers first. And so balancing it is pretty easy. The program is incredibly supportive in all of my pursuits to further my career as a combat medic while trying to achieve goals as a swimmer as well. It's hard. I won't lie about that. It's very hard to balance sometimes just because both are so demanding and so important to me. But I joined the program after injury. When I found out that I had an unrealized gift for swimming, I went to a Warrior Games, which is a competition for ill, sick, injured, and wounded soldiers. And we compete against the other branches in the military. And I had someone from the World Class Athlete program reach out to me and tell me that it existed. And as soon as I found out that I could try for both, that became a singular focus of mine. So I've been fortunate enough to be with the program since 2012, on and off. I was in Rio in 2016 and very excited to represent the Army and my country in Tokyo as well.
Very cool. And I love how you turned your hardship into essentially a heroic feat. I love hearing that. And you have had several great accomplishments. You should be very proud. You are a 3-time world record holder, and you have been inducted into the Army's Women's Hall of Fame, just to name a few. What are some of the other favorite memories that you have based on your accomplishment during your career?
Thank you so much for those kind words. I believe that all of this has been a happy accident, and my brothers and sisters in the military have lifted me up and kind of convinced me to pursue this path. I never looked at myself as an athlete, just as a medic, and so it's really their accomplishments as well, because without them, I don't think I would have had the confidence in myself to pursue any of it. But some of my favorite memories aren't necessarily the world records or the medals, but it gives me this unique opportunity to get to mentor other ill, sick, injured, and wounded service members and veterans as well. So the mentorship piece and getting to show people what life after injury or illness looks like, those are my most special memories, and those couldn't be topped by any other feat.
That is awesome and so powerful. Thank you for your continued service and the variety of ways that you carry it out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, Mark, so I just kind of wanted to follow up on what you mentioned about the mentorship and being a leader in the military and the Army specifically. You mentioned how hard and difficult it is to kind of accomplish those two great feats of not only being a successful medic, but also a soldier athlete. Can you talk about how all of your hard work and discipline to be a professional athlete also translates into being that well-disciplined soldier and leader?
I think all of it stems from a want to take care of people, and that work ethic develops in that I don't want to let people down. I don't want to let my soldiers down. I don't want to let my peers down. There's so many people that have worked so hard to lift me up that I feel like it's my responsibility to rise to that and make them proud. So I think the most important tool through all of this, because there are hard days and there are long days, is to make sure that I'm doing it for something besides myself. I never step behind the block and race or try to go to an NCOES for myself. It's always with someone else in mind, someone who has taken the time to be that leader for me, and just to pay that forward in the best way I can. And for me, that's through physical action and competition, and then reaching back and mentoring people who have the capacity to then move into where I was and someday replace me. That's the hope.
Outstanding. Those are the leaders that we love to hear and have in our military, so thank you. Sergeant Schultz, you are also heading to the Tokyo Games as a modern pentathlete. Congratulations. That's awesome. And as you mentioned, the sport has 5 different events and obviously very diverse in this. Can you tell us not only which ones are your favorite, but also kind of the story of how you qualified for the 2020 Olympics?
Well, thank you very much. Yes, our sport is very diverse, and there is a lot of skills. And that's what I love about our sport. It really tests athletes physically and mentally and challenges you multiple times throughout the day because all the events are in one day. You have to stay very resilient and just stay focused the whole day long. But my favorite event would be the running and shooting combined event. I think that really tests the athlete. It's the last event of the day, so you are tired from everything and you really just have to stay focused. I qualified actually back in 2019 at the Pan American Games. That is one of our selection events where you can qualify based off a continental competition. I won the silver medal there, and that was where I qualified for the 2020 Olympics. So it's been a while since then, but got a couple competitions that I've done throughout this lead up to the Olympics.
That's exciting. Can you maybe explain to our audience what exactly a running and shooting event comprises of? I'm trying to think of my times at the range and just trying to focus on hitting the targets, let alone running and doing it.
So we shoot what is called a laser pistol. There is no live ammunition because we shoot in a stadium full of people. but we have our pistol set up at a station, and we have to run in and hit 5 hits on a target. And once we have those 5 hits, we will go run 800 meters, and we do that a total of 4 times. So it's 2 miles of running and 20 hits on the target.
Very impressive. I think you're my new hero, so thanks for all that you do. That's awesome. So how does it feel to represent the United States Army at the 2020 Olympic Games and being able to serve your country and also participate in the world stage has got to be pretty phenomenal.
It definitely is. It's a huge honor. I think being an athlete is one thing, but being a soldier athlete, it really just means a lot more. You have that whole other team behind you. Being able to represent not just Team USA, but the U.S. Army at the Games just brings a lot more behind what I'm fighting for. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, leadership that I've had just to be able to compete and train with other soldier athletes, and the leadership and support to push me, not just in my Army career, but as an athlete as well. All of those things have really just pushed me to succeed. And I know that they'll support me in the games, outside of the games. And I think that too, just as an athlete, knowing I have that support, no matter what, really just gives me the confidence going into the Olympics.
Excellent. I like the comment about having quite the team behind you moving into the Olympics. The United States Army is supporting you and the rest of your soldier athletes 110%, so that's very exciting. So you mentioned you joined the Army a little bit later in life. You had been a professional athlete for a little while. What advice would you give to either aspiring athletes or young soldiers on kind of fulfilling your dream and doing what motivates you?
Absolutely. Actually, joining the Army has been one of the best decisions of my life. It's really given me a lot more perspective. It's provided me with more of a family and also leadership opportunities. I get to have wonderful people like Sergeant Marks and Sergeant Boucher, my coach, who have provided great leadership just within my unit. And that really motivates and inspires me for younger athletes, younger soldiers. And I would just encourage others to try not to compare yourself to others and not be afraid to go after something, even if you think you may fail. Building those goals and aspirations with other people to keep you accountable and to be able to track your own progress, it's very important. It helps you to focus on yourself, but then I also encourage other people to find someone who needs help with their goals and dreams, and you can both support each other. I think being a mentor to others, as well as seeing where you can grow, you can both win, and you can both see those growths and those gains that you have, and I think that that will really help achievement in any aspect of life. You can become a team. You're fighting for so much more than yourself. I mean, there's tons of advice, but I'd say that's kind of the biggest thing.
Well said, Sergeant. Thank you so much. So, AUSA will be inviting some of the soldier athletes part of your program, the World Class Athlete Program, to our AUSA's annual meeting in October. So I'm so hoping that I will meet you and or your counterparts in October. So this was just a nice spotlight of the wonderful accomplishments and the different things that you all are doing as athletes as well as soldiers. So thank you so much. So we're going to close out in a bit, but I want to ask, are there any final thoughts that you would like to share with our listeners before we finalize this podcast? Sergeant First Class first.
The only final thoughts that I would give to your AUSA listeners is that there's a lot of healing that can happen in sport, and just because you weren't an athlete doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. There's a lot of opportunities, and not all of them lead to being on a Paralympic or Olympic team, but it can be a community of people that can help you heal in a lot of ways. So please don't shy away from it, and all are welcome.
Love it. Thank you. And then Sergeant?
Yeah, I would just piggyback on that and just say there are so many opportunities, and we've really been grateful for this amazing program and the leadership we've had. And I really hope that everyone gets an opportunity to have that leadership or be that leader for someone else. And I'm just very excited and thankful for the support as we go to Tokyo and have the support of the U.S. Army and Team USA behind us.
Excellent. And we say good luck, and we wish you all the best. We thank you so much for joining us today on Army Real Talk and just sharing the amazing accomplishments of the athletes and the opportunity to share information about the World Class Athletic Program. I thank you both for taking this time, and I hope you have a good day.
To all our listeners, thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the Army Matters podcast on iTunes and everywhere podcasts are found. The Army Matters podcast series is brought to you by the Association of the United States Army, the U.S. Army's professional association, member-supported, Army connected. Visit us at ausa.org for more information or to become a member. Your membership helps AUSA continue to carry out its mission to educate, inform, and connect with the total Army, our industry partners, and our supporters of a strong national defense. For questions or to provide topic recommendations, email us at podcast@ausa.org. Have a great Army Day. Hua.